It's been a little while since I've reacted to new makeup and just talked about will I buy it, what's new in makeup, that type of thing. So I thought that'd be fun to sit down and do with you guys today because there's been a lot of new things coming out that kind of piqued my interest, but I think I'm anti-hauling everything. We'll find out in a minute. But let's go ahead and do another Will I Buy It talking about new makeup releases. If you like that type of video, stay tuned. I'm gonna go make my coffee with you guys and we can get right into talking about the new makeup releases. Okay, so it has been a while since I've made coffee with you guys, but I was definitely feeling like coffee. Went to make it before sitting down. I was like, yeah, let's do that again. Let me know if you missed it too or if it was just me. But anyway, there have been quite a few things coming out. So let's just go through my Will I Buy It folder on Instagram and talk about all the new makeup that has been launched recently that caught my attention. But like I said, I think I'm anti-hauling everything. So let me turn on the the screen recording on my phone, and I'll stick it up right here so you guys can see as we go along. First thing, this is from Trend Mood. Makeup Revolution is coming out with an artist collection, and the thing that caught my eye is I saw the word neons, as you can see here on the palette, neons. I'm fairly certain these two palettes that say neons on it are eyeshadow palettes, and correct me if I'm wrong, but this one in the back that's green themed, I don't see much neon in there. It just looks like a neutral green themed palette. Kind of like what's been coming out a lot with Odin's Eye and Nomad recently. I was just looked at that and was like, okay, neon how? The one in front does look more neon, and also the UV paints look more neon than those. But those two palettes just caught my attention because I was like, or like the green caught my attention, obviously, because the green jumped down. I was like, ooh, green. But then I looked at it and I was like, I don't think that's neon. Maybe you could argue the yellow is slightly, but even then it's like a mustard color. So can you have a mustard neon? I didn't think so. But anyway, it was a bit of a laugh for me, so I did want to share it. I'm passing on all of this, but I just got a little chuckle that they were trying to convince me that that was neon inside that green palette. I don't agree. Let me know. Next up, let's do the Adept Cosmetics came out with the Seahorse. I almost said Seashore. The Seahorse palette, 15 shades, $140. Available now. Radar 10 makeup on my Radar is who I'm reading it off of. She has a code for 10% off. It is pretty. I'm not denying that that is beautiful, but knowing my, my history with Adept, the one palette I've tried from them, so take that for what it is. Definitely take that into consideration. There's going to be shades in here that are too textured for my liking. So, and for $140, I'm not someone who would drop anywhere near $100 on an all shimmer palette. So right there, I'm just like, it's not for me. It looks very pretty. They're very light and very pastelish, which I think is fitting for a Seahorse themed palette, but for me and my preferences, it's an easy pass. The only thing that really caught my eye was that Tyro shade, just because it has all those colors, but it's a marbled shade, so it's going to mix up together and just be more of an ordinary, maybe multi-chrome color, once you use it on your eyes. So it's very pretty presenting, but I saw this, I thought it was beautiful, but it was an incredibly easy pass for me. Okay, Nomad Cosmetics, at the time of me posting this, will have finally revealed their new palette, the Safari palette. I don't even need to show you guys a screen recording because, I mean, look at this. It's beautiful. I can show you guys in person. This is a beautiful neutral palette. For me, it's a very beautiful neutral palette. It has a row of greens, which takes any type of neutral eye look, in my opinion, from a boring neutral eye look to a fun neutral eye look, and it's what's on my eyes today. I have a full video, should be already up. It is like 3 looks, a review, all that sort of thing. I have swatches over on my Instagram, and let me check the date of launch. I think it's going to be, yeah, launch date is Tuesday, May 29th. So hopefully this video is going up beforehand. If you are interested in this palette, it's really pretty, really well done. Nomad Cosmetics always does it very nicely done. Check out my video if you want more details on my thoughts on this, but I do have a code if you are interested in picking this up. If you want to support me, because it is an affiliate code, Lady Katie will get you a discount when this launches. But yeah, that was a new release recently that came out, or it was just revealed this past weekend, and I have it, so, you know, I'm not, will I buy it, because they did send it to me in PR, which I'm very grateful for, and it is, like I said, my type of neutral palette. Okay, next up I saved Shine by SD Cosmetics. They are launching a Hidden Gems palette, or like a collection. Let's see, 13 hidden gems ranging from $10.25 to $10.99, 3 Fantasy 2.0 for $15, 4 mattes for $4.40 each. Okay, so there's several different things in this collection. Oh, ooh, that's pretty. And the mattes look nice. Shine by SD. I have not tried the brand yet. I've heard amazing things about them. When indie brands comes out with single collections, I get too overwhelmed, especially when it's a bunch of shimmers. I usually get too overwhelmed and I just admire from a distance, and that's definitely the case with this. But it looks really pretty. Let me know if you're planning to pick up any. I feel like that's not terrible prices for special shades, indie cosmetic shades. You know, less than $5 for mattes. That's awesome. And like I said, I've heard great things about the brand, but I'm not planning to pick it up. However, I do just want to kind of bleed over into the shimmers. When I saw these shimmers, I thought of Jeffree Star, but just because of the star shaped in it, and I was like, oh, is this a Jeffree Star launch? Is he doing singles now? He's not, but I did go over and check out his website, and he is actually did launch something. I find it so interesting that like nobody shares about him anymore after all of his controversies and whatnot. I don't think even Trendmood, because I was on Trendmood's page and I didn't notice his new launch. Maybe I glossed right over it, but he's still launching stuff, and I figured I'd just mention it because it is a palette. It's a pastel palette. And I was a little surprised. I think the thought is that some of those, the shades that are really close, they give you a matte and a shimmer option. So matte yellow, shimmer yellow, matte blue, shimmer blue. So I get the concept behind it. But in my opinion, if you want a good one, just go to Give Me Glow Cosmetics, because I have it behind me all the time. Right here, I don't want to destroy everything pulling it out. But they have a fantastic palette, pastel palette that gives you exactly that. And her colors are so intensely saturated. I've never tried Jeffree Star Cosmetics, but I've always heard people talk about how crazy pigmented his shadows are, and Give Me Glow will give that to you. And all of these shimmers are more of a pastel shimmer. That might be the only difference, because he has more depth in here with his mattes, and some of the shimmers might be a little deeper, but that's neither here nor there. I'm definitely passing on this. It's an easy pass, but I figured I'd give you just another option there. And like overall, like my critique of the palette is, for a pastel palette that has that theme of like, you know, matte one color and shimmer of the same color pastel, I didn't really like anything about it except for the fact that it gave you a dark purple. That's the only thing Give Me Glow could have done a little bit better, is put one of the shades really deep and dark. But still, I still like her concept, but that's the only thing. You guys know me. I love darker outer corners, so that's the only thing about this palette that I was like, ooh, that would have been nice. Okay, next up is from bPerfect Cosmetics. They're coming out with this Gravity palette. It's an incredibly easy pass for me. This is a neutral palette that is a very boring neutral palette. So I saw this and I was like, no thanks. But you'll have to let me know if you're excited, if you're getting it. It's a gray toned or like cool tone type of neutral palette, so I feel like that's something a little more different than what often is released when it comes to neutrals, but I'm definitely not a cool tone neutral palette. The too many shades in here are just not inviting for me to even want to try to create something with, so it's an easy pass for me. But let me know if you're excited about it. Oh yeah, let's see. Jolie Beauty launched a huge collection. This palette they were teasing, let's see, where's the cover? Sirens, that's what the palette's called. It is a very pretty, you know, black with the gold lettering and whatnot. And then this palette, if it wasn't so large, if it was like half this size and had this kind of color story, I think I would have bought it already. Or I guess if I can buy it. When does it launch? Oh, it's available now, so I could buy it. Siren palette is $49. That's, you know, $50 is not cheap by far, but $50 for this many shadows isn't bad. I've heard great things about the brand. I love the combination of grungy greens and these type of purples. That's so very pretty. So I would have a lot of fun with this color story, and then you got the blues in there. Everything about the color story I love. It's just a little large for me right now, so that's why I'm passing. And I forget, some of those look like they could be pressed glitters. I'm not 100% sure, but I think Jolie Beauty does pressed glitters. You'll have to let me know. But like I said, I really like the color story, but because it's so large, I'm just saying no. But let me know if have you guys tried this brand, or are you picking this up? I feel like I've already shared about this, but just in case I haven't, I saw it, I'm gonna mention it again. Melt Cosmetics came out with their Dark Matter eyeshadow palette, and I'm just like, what is that? I feel like it's been a while since Melt Cosmetics has come out with anything, so when they started to tease it, I got excited. But this palette, not only I feel like is it oddly designed, like the inside, there's too much space for me personally around some of these, around the single, you know, the can I think of? The eyeshadow pans. There's too much space around it. Like, just squeeze it up together and it could have been a smaller palette, or continue separating and stick 2 more shades in there. You know what I mean? But it's a boring palette in my opinion. Like, it's a very neutral palette. I get they were trying to go with the dark matter, that stack that they used to have, but that stack of what was it, 4 shadows is far more interesting than all of these just very, very light toned, bland, neutral shades. And I guess what they were going for with the shimmers was to complement like exactly the mattes, but it was a huge miss for me. I saw this and I was like, yep, not even slightly, minutely tempted. I feel very negative in this video because everything I'm just like, nope, nope, nope. But this was one I was just like, no, no way. Not even like a teeny bit interested. Oh, this brand, I always butcher the pronunciation of their brand, but this brand came out with an Under the Sea. I remember talking about it when I just had the palette, or just had the cover that they had showed, but now they've revealed the full palette. And this is a fun, unexpected color story. I like the mix of those bright reds, especially like it looks like it might be a pressed glitter, that shimmery red, that looks really pretty. That yellow flounder, ooh, that looks good. The greens mixed in with a little bit of the blues. It's an unexpected but fun color story. I'm not picking it up though, just because I feel like it's a little too big and chaotic. There are 13 duochrome shades, 6 shimmer shades, 6 matte shades. Okay, so there are no pressed glitters. I thought some of those were pressed glitters, but they are not. There are not enough mattes for me in this palette. Until I just read that out, I did not realize there were so few mattes. And one of them is this kind of shipwreck brown orangey shade. There's at least a black, so that's good, but there are not enough mattes in here. Way too many shimmers for me. I'm not someone who likes to get crazy creative with my shimmers or like to have a ton of possibilities. I like to get creative with my mattes, so it's important for me to have a lot of mattes. So while I think the color story is really creative, it felt slightly disconnected from the cover that they created for it, and like I said, not enough mattes for me, so it's a pass for me. I forgot to turn my backdrop light on. Next up, Unearthly Cosmetics and Heather Austin collabed on a collection that is beautiful. Before I say anything else on whether I plan to get it or not, it is beautiful. The packaging is stunning. It made me think of Mel Thompson just because of the bug theme that it had to the outside packaging. Maybe I was alone there, but I saw it and I just thought back of her and it made me miss her again in the beauty community, and I went and watched a couple of her old videos. Anyway, it is beautiful. Heather Austin did a very lovely job with, you know, kind of the theme for it, and really Unearthly Cosmetics, I think, did a great job capturing it. I think the packaging is superb. The, you know, lip gloss and the shimmer, or the highlighter duo, I'm sure are beautiful, or highlighter blush duo, whatever it is, I'm sure are beautiful. I'm not into that type of thing, so I'm sure it came as no surprise that I wasn't planning to ever get the whole collection. However, even with the palette, I struggled for a very long time. I even put a poll up on my Instagram. I was like, should I get this or not on launch day? Because I was at checkout, I was gonna get it, and then I was like, oh, I don't know, something about it. It's just, when I really get up close and personal with this palette and look at the color story, and then I look at the looks that people have created, I'm not inspired and overtly like excited to create looks. Like, I see some looks that I think would be fun, and maybe the hang up is that there aren't enough mattes for me to feel creative, or the colors of mattes they put in there don't really excite me to combine them. Like that green, obviously that green gets me, and the blue is fun. And then that kind of muted purpley tone in there, I'm just not crazy. I don't know. I think that might be my hang up, because there are a lot of shimmers, and I understand, you know, Heather Austin loves her shimmers, so it totally get it. I'm not trying to dog on her and what she's created, but trying to be, as a consumer looking at this, when I was trying to decide if I wanted to pick it up, that's where I kept hanging up. When I really zoomed in close and just looked at the color story, took out the fact that it was a collab, took out the fact that I love the outer packaging, I kept leaning on the side of passing. So like I said, I asked on my Instagram page, I hemmed and hawed about it all on launch day, and ultimately, at the time of me filming this, I have not purchased it. I'm sure I will regret it as I see everyone doing videos. I'm sure I will feel a little bit bad. I do feel a little bit bad, but I'm not going to be picking it up, and I'm just going to be passing on it. It is lovely packaging. I really want to own it just for the display purposes and whatnot, and I'm sure it's a lovely formula. I'm sure I could create some pretty looks, but something about it just doesn't grab me so much that I'm like, I really want to have this, and I don't. You know, like, I'm going to have serious FOMO. I don't want to not have it. Let me know your thoughts. I've gone on and on about this. Let me know what you guys decided to do. Did you pick it up? What do you think about the collection? Did you like the color story? Maybe I'm just being too critical or thinking too hard on it, but I ended up not getting it at the time of me filming this. We'll see if I end up, you know, breaking that later. But it is available now. I think the collection box, they had a little bit of a delay, but if you wanted to get the collection box, it's $86. The eyeshadow palette for $45. So, yeah, I'm not getting it, and I feel bad. A new release from Sugar Drizzle Polish. This is the Red Panda palette. It's 12 shades, 2 mattes, 10 shimmers slash duos. Not enough mattes, and that's always with Sugar Drizzle Polish. I have yet to try this brand, mainly because they're very like shimmer palette focused. Most of the palettes they come out with are all shimmer. And I just like some mattes. But this is super cute. I will say, when I saw this, I honestly thought it was like a Menagerie Cosmetics release that I was like totally unaware of. I was like, wait a minute, when did Menagerie launch this? Because the vibe of this palette and like the artist work on it really did make me think of Menagerie Cosmetics. I don't know if maybe they hired the same illustrator, I think that's the word you say, artist, that, you know, the Menagerie does, and maybe that's why they seem so similar. So anyway, very cute. The Red Panda, absolutely beautiful. But looking at the colors, looking at the swatches, it's too heavy on the shimmers, and the shimmers themselves and the color share themselves, I'm not crazy about. I'm sure that doesn't come as a surprise, so it's an easy pass for me. BeautyBay launched a Sundown collection. It is beautiful. If I didn't already own the Citrus Punch palette from Simply Posh Cosmetics, I would have probably picked this up because it has that similar vibe. However, Citrus Punch gives me the greens that you guys know I love, and this palette doesn't have, but it is still really pretty. However, since I do have that palette, I talk myself out of this, though I'm sure this palette is going to create absolutely beautiful looks. I like the depth that you can get. You know, I think combining that purple and brown will give it a nice amount of depth. The yellows look insanely bright. That orange looks amazing. And it being BeautyBay, I feel like the quality is going to be really good. The shimmers, I feel like the only one that really grabs me is that yellow sun. That looks so pretty. And this matte, I just can't get over how crazy intense zesty looks. So there's aspects of this palette that I really want, but ultimately I'm like, I don't need it. I'm having so much fun with Citrus Punch. I'm just going to create looks that I would create with this palette, with that palette, and I'll be good to go. And I feel like the shimmer formula of Citrus Punch and Simply Posh Cosmetics as a whole is just a lot more shimmery and sparkly. But anyway, I'm not picking this up, but let me know if you did. I know a lot of people like BeautyBay, and it tends to be affordable. Oh, $35. Wait, if that's for the palette, I'm kind of surprised. I thought this size was like 16. Did they go up? I mean, I guess they went up in price if it was 16 before. I could have sworn the Wilderness palette, which was the same size or larger, was like $15. I thought they were 16. Anyway, let me know if you're picking it up. Oh yeah, this is a bit of a sneak peek. Natasha Denona Yucca palette. The only reason I'm mentioning this is because the colors in that display, they're the colors that I really like. And then the, what is this called? Extensions. Looks like pencils. One of them is like that kind of pukey green yellow. I'm curious to see what this palette looks like. I'm sure it's going to have like one pop of that gorgeous color and everything else is going to be brown and probably purple because it's Natasha Denona and I feel like she puts that mauvey purple tone in everything. But I am curious. And if it launches like they show the palette before I finish editing this, I'll stick a note over it so you guys know my initial thoughts. But I am very curious to see what this palette looks like. Oh yes, Colourpop launched another palette that is supposed to be oh so hot and spicy. And I look at it and I'm just like, it's a neutral palette like you launch every single time. Okay, there's some warmth there. I will give them that. But I would not call this spicy and I would not call this hot. That's just my personal opinion. So very short and to the point, it's just not a color story that excites me at all. Even the bright pops of colors in here are very cool tone, or like not cool tone, but toned down and neutral to me. So easy pass there. I'm sure that comes as no surprise. Ladybug Glow launched a new palette. I feel so bad I haven't even reviewed her first palette that she sent me. I feel terrible. But this is like a pastel palette that's really pretty. It's got how many? 5 duochrome shifty shades, 6 mattes, and 1 multi-chrome. Vegan and cruelty free, $37.50 with code, $33.75 free US shipping. All codes active code birthday will also save money. I don't understand that sentence, but I'll put it here on the screen so you guys can see. I think I'm like reading it wrong. But apparently code birthday will get it to you for $33.75. I think I have a code as well. If I do have a code, it'll be Lady Katie. I have no idea what the percentage is. I'm pretty sure that it's a affiliate. I can't even remember if it's affiliate or just a code I can give to for people to save money, but that is my code if you're curious. Radar also has a code, Makeup on My Radar. But this color story looks really pretty. Oh, holy cow, I just saw this picture and I was like, oh, pastels. But then this picture, that's like deep saturation. Oh my goodness, this first picture is really confusing because I see pastels. Am I alone here? But then I swipe and I see like saturation and more jewel toned. Ooh. I like the second picture. And I think that's the same palette. Yeah, I think the one was just taken in like extreme sunlight, so it washed it out. Maybe that's why. Yeah, I like that second picture. It's a lot more deep saturation there. That's really pretty. I feel a little disconnect when I sit here and try to figure out what kind of looks I would do with the mattes with the shimmers. But the color story is very pretty. So I feel like, you know, if you get it, that you'll be able to create some really cool looks. But looking at the mattes to shimmer, I'm having a little hard time. Like, I guess you could use those. That green and burnt or like a medallion gold, so pretty. And then that like seafoam type of green. It's beautiful. Okay, this just took a big turn. Oh my goodness, such a roller coaster. I'm not planning to pick it up because I still have to review for first palette, and I'm sure I'll be late by the time I would get to this one if I did get it. So I'm gonna pass on it, but my thoughts on it are crazy different because this second picture I'm much more into. Am I just going crazy and like, no, I think that's the same palette. Y'all help me out here. I didn't sleep much last night, so maybe that's why. Okay, so for the last one, IndiBeats Cosmetics came out with this new palette. This is their Skid Row palette. I don't understand the palette packaging at all. I don't know if it's like an inside joke, if it's like off of a movie, a comic book, I don't know. But ignoring that, the color story is actually really pretty. Like, I looked at that, all the deep saturation, the richness of those mattes, and it has so many mattes. I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 shimmers and that's it. Okay, I was kind of close. 7 mattes, 3 shimmers, and 2 marbled shimmers. And there's also a six-piece collection, so more to come. But the palette itself is $30. Oh wait, single palette. Oh yes, palette itself is $30. So not a bad price for that many shadows, especially with that like the color story. I like that type of grungy richness with their matte colors. Those are the type of colors I really do enjoy playing with, especially in the fall, which is I suppose when it's popular. But I love those tones. But like I said, the palette packaging, I'm just like, I feel like this is something that I just don't get. Like, it looks like it belongs, you know, in a movie or a comic book. I'm saying comic book because of the background, or even a game. Please enlighten me down below in the comments, but I don't get it. And since it's nothing beautiful that I would want to display, it kind of takes back any kind of like desire to buy it. So while I do like the color story, I think it's very pretty, and $30 I don't think is a bad price. I've heard great things about IndiBeats Cosmetics shimmers. I don't think I've heard much about their mattes. Maybe I just haven't noticed, but I don't know if they're good or not. But I've heard good things about the brand in general, so I'm tempted, but I'm going to be passing on this palette. Let me know if you guys are interested. Makeup on My Radar has a coupon code if you're curious, Radar10 at checkout. It's available in early June, so it's not even available yet. So I'm not late to this. I thought this was old news, but anyway. I think it's pretty, but I'm planning on passing. All right, so those are all the new makeup releases that caught my eye. I can't wait to see what you guys think. I don't think I said yes to any of them, so it was an anti-haul after all. There you go. Felt a little bit of a Debbie Downer, but as I always say, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I can't wait to hear your thoughts down below in the comments. If you made it this far, go ahead and give me a thumbs up, a like, and comment this emoji down in the comments if you want to, as it helps me in the whole YouTube algorithm. If you make it this far, to not only like the video, but also to leave a comment, and it just really helps my video get out there. But yeah, with that said, I'll keep this outro short and sweet. Thanks for joining me on drinking my coffee and looking at new makeup. And oh, don't forget to follow me on Instagram, LadyKatie92 over there. I post reels, up close eye swatches, all that sort of thing. I ask your guys' opinions on new makeup a lot of times over there in my stories. So LadyKatie92. And with all that said, I'll see you guys very soon in my next video. Bye guys.